Good boy. As some of you may know, if you've been around the channel for a minute, we got a puppy about 2.5, 3 months ago. And oh my gosh, look at this guy. Look how big he is. That is not a puppy anymore. Okay, I'll let you go. Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mike, and that was my puppy Nike. And in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about what's inside of my camera bag, Minimalist Edition. Now, before we begin, let me just say this is a precursor. I am not a minimalist. However, I do believe in being intentional with everything that you do. And for me, in my camera bag, I try to carry as least amount of gear as possible because nobody likes hiking, nobody likes going on an adventure or just being out shooting all day, and your bag just hurts because your bag is weighed down with too much gear. So this is gonna be hopefully a pretty quick video, and I'm just gonna go into detail with what it is that I carry with me when I go out to shoot. So first things first, the camera bag of choice that I use is the Brevity. Oh gosh, I forget what the exact model is on this. I will leave a link in the description, really with all the gear that I talk about, but as well as this bag, because I'm just gonna let you guys know right away, if you've never heard of Brevity as the brand, this is such an amazing backpack. The thing that I really like about it is the sleek design, because there's a lot of camera bags out there that, let's be honest, they just look like camera bags, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I carry this with me almost every single day, and so I want something that actually looks appealing, to be honest with you. So I love this bag. It's got a ton of different compartments. I can store a lot, but like I said, I try to keep as little amount of gear as possible. So my camera, let's talk about my camera. So I shoot on a Canon SL2, and that's actually what I'm shooting on right now. And I won't go into like a formal review about this camera, but I will say this: if you are a beginner filmmaker or photographer, if you are trying to upgrade your gear, maybe you've been shooting with your phone or maybe an old point and shoot, this camera is an amazing start into a DSLR. It ranges about $400 to $500, which in the camera world, this is very cheap. It's a great deal. It shoots in 60 frames per second, so it has a decent option for you when it comes to slow motion. It's got the dual pixel autofocus, which is great. It has the exact same 24.2 megapixel sensor that is in the Canon 80D. So basically what they did was that they took the sensor in the 80D, made it a whole lot smaller, or they didn't make it smaller, but they fit it in a much smaller footprint called the SL2, and I could not be happier with this camera. Next is my go-to lens. Right now, what I've been using primarily has been my Sigma 17 to 50 f2.8 lens, which is on my camera right now. This lens is a great upgrade from a kit lens, from the standard Canon kit lens. It's got the 2.8 aperture, so it gives you a better low light option, as well as it gives you a little bit better bokeh when you're taking pictures or shooting on it for YouTube videos, which everybody likes that. My only downside on this lens for video is that the autofocus noise is kind of loud and at times completely unusable, which this doesn't affect me too much because a lot of times I'm putting music overlaid on top of my video, so I don't really care what the audio sounds like through the camera. This is a great lens. It's incredibly sharp. Sigma just makes really good lenses. Everybody knows that, and this is no different. It ranges right around $300, which again, really affordable option for you. So love that lens. Next, let's actually go inside of the bag and see what we carry. The DJI Mavic Air drone. I love this thing. I love how small, look how small this thing is. This is ridiculous, and it fits, it folds up really nicely. I can keep it with me. I can take it with me at all times. I really can't say enough about this drone. I think I might even do a formal review on this drone a little bit later. I literally cannot say enough good things about this drone. Next is the nifty 50 Canon 50mm 1.8. This was the first lens that I ever bought for my Canon SL2. And really, if you are looking for a nice, sharp, good in low light lens for a affordable option, you cannot beat this thing. It cost me about $150 and I have used it almost every single day. I think it's a great prime lens for photography. Again, it gets that great bokeh 1.8, or aperture 1.8, which means it lets in a decent amount of light. So you're gonna be able to use this in low light situations. And to be honest, it's just so small. I love this thing. Very light, very portable. All right, next in one of my pouches, I've got these ND filters, and this is a set of 3 ND filters from Polar Pro, and this is specifically for the DJI Mavic Air. If you don't use ND filters, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you need to, and I love the price point on these from Polar Pro. They work really well. I can shoot at any time in the day and it's still, my footage always looks really clean, really crisp, and you know, ultimately it looks really cinematic, which I'm all about that. So ND filters. Okay, next is the Joby Gorilla Pod. I don't take this with me all the time, but it's small enough and it fits in my backpack. I can justify bringing this with me at, you know, sometimes, because I'll tell you for sure, there have been a few times when this thing has come in handy. It's really nice to have a small, very portable tripod. Now, obviously this isn't, you know, 6 feet tall or whatever, but you can get creative with this thing. It is great for vlogging. This is the first generation Gorilla Pod, I think, from Joby. So it's not the strongest or the sturdiest, but for me, with the Canon SL2, it's a really lightweight camera. So I don't have to worry about this thing, you know, breaking or anything like that. But if you have a bigger camera, I would recommend you looking at the step above this, but can't really beat that. So next, this thing. Anytime my wife and I have traveled, this thing has been brought out and has been very heavily used. You've got 2 outlets, so for your, you know, maybe you're charging your camera batteries, or for me, charging my laptop. This is very key when you're traveling, and it's super light. I can put it in pretty much any pouch in this backpack. I love this thing. It's got 4 USB ports, so for charging your phone. I know that there's a lot of options kind of like this thing, and I'll leave a link again in the description. This is like 10 bucks. You really can't beat the price point on this, and I've used it almost every single time that we've traveled, you know, out of town. So love that thing. One thing I carry with me is this portable hard drive, external hard drive. It's a 2 terabyte hard drive. I actually got, it's which one? It's a Seagate, which I bought this from Costco for about $40. This is really affordable, so I like that. Next, I've got my Hutu converter for the MacBook Pro. There's only USB-C ports in the new MacBook, which is what I have. So I have this little thing, which is nice because it has a SD card slot, which is, I mean, I don't know what I would do without that. It's got 3 USB 2.0 slots. It has a USB 3.0 slot, and it's got a HDMI slot as well. So this thing, again, I think this might have been like 20 bucks. So the last piece of gear that I carry with me is kind of like a bonus piece of gear because I don't bring it with me at all times. However, I bring it with me enough for me to mention it in this video, is the Moza Air gimbal. Now, this thing is amazing. I really enjoy it. For a lot of the work that I do, something like this actually is very crucial because I need that smooth, you know, panning shots that I just can't get from my camera handheld. Now, if your camera has the in-body image stabilization, you know, maybe you could comment below and let me know what you think about that. But for me, I just don't have that. So something like this does become very valuable to me at times. But anyways, that's it, guys. That's all of my gear. Like I said, this is the minimalist edition. I try to carry as limited amount of gear with me as possible. Something that I really value is I don't want my gear to determine who I am as a creator. I don't want to be codependent upon my gear. I want to actually develop the skills and the talent myself, and then I want my gear just to assist me. I don't want it to do the work for me. So that's all I've got. I will leave a link in my description for every piece of gear that we went over. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys here very shortly. I'm super excited. Next week, my wife and our entire family is going to the Oregon coast, to Cannon Beach, and so you already know we're gonna make a bunch of videos over there. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.